There's a smartphone app that records your deepest fears and makes them manifest in your real life. It was a quiet Friday evening in Portland. Ethan, a 23-year-old college student, was scrolling on his phone, trying to see something new, something exciting. Then an ad popped up on his screen. Fear code, discover your deepest fear. It promised an AI experience that would explore your fears like no one has ever seen before. Ethan chuckled. Yeah, right, he murmured. But curiosity got the better of him, and he downloaded the app. The interface was strange, minimalistic. A red button softly blinked. Record your fear. Ethan wondered. What is his deepest fear? Being completely alone. Alone, without anyone. He pressed the button and spoke clearly. I am alone. I cannot be alone. The app blinked. 1, 2, 3 times. Then went dark. At first, nothing happened. But at night, Ethan was on his bed in his small Portland apartment. The apartment had old wooden floors, creaky windows. Typical USA suburban vibe. The phone screen turned on by itself, and words were blinking. I'm with you. Ethan froze. His heart was pounding. He tried to ignore it. Thought it was a glitch. But shadows were moving in his room. Slowly, shifting. Forming shapes he couldn't make sense of. Ethan hid under his blanket, trying to convince himself. This is just a nightmare. Then, a clear whisper. Right next to him. You cannot be alone. Ethan screamed. But the apartment was silent. No one responded. The next morning, Ethan tried to delete the app. Failed. The button wouldn't respond. Every attempt failed. He noticed his surroundings. Small things. Everything felt completely off. Kitchen lights were flickering. The microwave turned on by itself. Shadows lingered. Longer than normal. His roommate, Jake, was texting. Dude, you coming to the party tonight? Ethan didn't reply. Because he knew he couldn't leave the apartment. Not without facing what was happening. By noon, Ethan's reflection in the mirror looked wrong. A shadow on his shoulder. A faint figure lurking. An app notification popped up. Next fear? Ethan's stomach dropped. Everything was coming true. His fears manifesting into reality. Even the neighborhood felt strange. Dogs walking, joggers passing. Shadows unusually long. Faces flickering. Almost unnatural. Ethan ran upstairs. Locked his bedroom door. The app, blinking red. Mocking him. Calling him. Face it, or it faces you. Ethan was confused. Phone, fears. Everything, connected. In a way, that didn't make sense. That night again. Rain tapped on the windows. Streetlights cast long shadows. Ethan tried to reason. This is just an app, it can't do anything. But deep down he knew. This Friday night was only the beginning. Shadows were waiting. And the app kept blinking. I'm with you. Friday night, rain still tapping on the windows. Ethan decided, if the app was turning his fears into reality, he would have to face them. He opened his laptop and started searching. Fear code app hacks. Scary app incidents USA. Found nothing useful. Every forum, people just complaining. Missing, terrified, insane. The app sent a notification itself. Ready for the next fear? Ethan's heart stopped. He didn't press anything. Yet. Sounds came from the kitchen. Cups crashing. Cabinets slamming. And shadows. Stretching across the room. Right in front of his eyes. Ethan flipped the light switch. The light blinked. Then as soon as it turned on, a figure stood. In front of his bed. A black silhouette, faceless. Ethan screamed. Then the phone unlocked itself. And the app's text blinked. Don't fight it. Join it. Ethan realized. This app was linked to something more than AI or normal coding. Something paranormal. The next morning, everything in the apartment seemed normal. But Ethan knew nothing was normal. Mailmen, neighbors, all felt strange. Some people flickering. Eyes blank, unnatural. Ethan decided he had to uninstall the app completely. Yet, every attempt failed. The phone screen kept blinking. Every second. Next fear? At night, Ethan gathered his courage and opened the app. A warning blinked on the screen. To survive, face your ultimate fear. Ethan took a deep breath and said aloud, I am alone, truly alone, nothing can touch me. The screen blinked. Everything went quiet. Apartment silent. Then, Ethan looked behind. And there. Nothing. Just shadows, normal. He thought, maybe it was all over. Then the phone vibrated. Notification, blinking. Text message. New user ready in Seattle. Fear returned to Ethan's heart. He realized this app wasn't made by anyone. It feeds. And every user prepares the next victim. The screen blinked. I'm always watching. And faded to black. You wave at your neighbor through the window every night. Until the police tell you that the flat has been empty for years. I had moved into a quiet suburb in Pennsylvania. A small building. An old streetlight outside that always flickered at night. Every night at 11:15, a shadow appeared in the window of apartment 203. A tall, thin man. Always waving. At first, I thought he was being friendly. So I started waving back. It became a routine. But one night the waving didn't stop. Even after I closed the blinds, I still felt like someone was watching me. The next morning, I met Mrs. Carter at the mailbox. She's been living here for 30 years. I casually asked, "Who lives in 203? Her face turned pale. In a low voice she said, "Son, that flat has been empty for 10 years. The last tenant was Richard Hale. He died right there." I thought he was joking. But when I called the building manager, Mr. Donovan, he confirmed it. "Kid, 203 is sealed. No power, no water, nothing. No one's been in there for years." Right then I looked out the window. And that man was there again. This time, smiling while waving. The next night, I decided to ignore it. But at 11:15, I heard a faint knocking behind the blinds. Tap, tap. I pulled the curtains aside. 203 was completely empty. The blinds open. The TV off. My eyes fell on my reflection. And behind me, another hand was waving. From inside my own room. At that moment, my phone buzzed with an unknown notification. A photo. I was standing in front of my own window, and behind me, a shadow was visible. Beneath the message it said, "Welcome back, Richard." After that photo, I dropped my phone. My hands were shaking. On the screen it said, "Welcome back, Richard." I wasn't Richard. But in that moment it felt like my identity was being stolen away. The next morning, I went to the police station. At the Harrisburg precinct, I spoke to an officer. I showed him the photo. He glared at me, then said, "Kid, this photo is already in our records. This exact picture was taken from a 2012 crime scene." The ground slipped from beneath me. The police told me Richard Hale had died in front of that same window. And his last photo looked just like mine. A shadow standing behind him. Exactly like the one in my phone. I was confused. Was I Richard reborn? Or was he pulling me into his place? That night, I couldn't sleep. 11:15 was getting closer. I decided I would break into 203 and see for myself. I stole the keys from the building manager, and at night went straight to the door of 203. Unlocked it. The door slowly creaked open on its own. Inside it was dark. The air was old and rotten, as if no one had lived there for years. But the TV was on by itself, playing the same channel I always saw with his shadow. In the center of the room stood an old mirror. And in that mirror I didn't see my own reflection. I saw Richard's face. He was smiling and waving, just like he used to from behind the window. I tried to break the mirror, but the reflection inside didn't shatter. It only came closer. Behind me, the door slammed shut. I ran to the window. The curtains flew open, and across the street, I saw my own window. And there, a shadow stood just like me, waving at me. I understood then. Richard's soul was never free. And now he had chosen me. Now I had become part of the same cycle. A shadow that would always wave from behind the window at 11:15. Until someone new saw me and waved back. Every night, behind some window, someone always becomes Richard Hale.